It is Wednesday night again. This is the Wednesday Night Mouse Party. And tonight, I'm on my own. We'll see if anybody else joins us later. But for now, it's just me. So, hello to everyone. Oh, let me get the banner going while I just thought about it. At the bottom of the screen, there's a banner with an email address. And a link that'll get you somewhere. You can send in comments, suggestions, or pictures within reason. And if you watch this in replay, leave a comment. Anything we talk about, agree with, disagree with, think we left out. I read all the comments. They are always appreciated. So far out there is Sergeant Joe Smith. Says he is here. And Teddy Two Guns. Good evening. And the Saint. People are starting to roll in here. There's Mr. G Webs. How's it going, G Webs? How you doing? I can't hear you.
Oh, did I miss the beginning? I missed the intro.
There you go. Yeah, I just started.
So is anybody out there? I just jumped in. I just saw the time.
There's a few people out there. They're kind of starting to roll in now.
This is the unscripted show. Did you have a topic or anything for this one?
I forgot to do a poll for this week. I had thought of a poll, which I thought was a good poll, and I liked it, and then I forgot it. And I remembered that I had forgotten. So I was trying to come up with another one and then forgot that I had remembered that I forgot and never put up a poll.
Was it about coffee whiskers?
Probably not.
Milk frothers, I should say. Huh, well, Gizzard did his show today. I guess he's not jumping into this one. What's up with that?
I
He's
don't
still
know.
sick from Texas. He's still got the Texas-itis.
I don't know. I've seen his Instagram posts, but I didn't want. I took a nap. I didn't see his member chat tonight.
Oh.
I was watching when I was getting the link together for tonight. I saw a clip from podcast with Will Sasso, the comedian. He was on like Fox or on Mad TV.
Okay.
And it was. They said they were doing a podcast, him and another guy, and it was completely run by an AI. An AI company had approached them.
Oh, I see.
And so the AI would run everything, and it looked at all their social media, had access to all their social media stuff. And so it would run the program and tell them what to do. And it's called Dudesy. And
You watched it?
I was watching a little bit of it, the first episode, while I was kind of getting stuff ready to go. And so I thought kind of interesting. And then there were a couple AI specials that it did. One was a Tom Brady, where Tom Brady told jokes, and one was George Carlin. And the more I thought about it, the less I kind of trusted it being real. And then I started reading up on it, and it's all fake.
Like every bit of it. There's no actors in it at all.
No, it's all scripted. I mean, during their podcast, I think it's, they'll have kind of a script and then just kind of talk about whatever, it's a comedian. And I think the other dude is who writes most of it. But there was a lawsuit, George Carlin's family sued over the AI special thing they did, and they admitted in court that it's fake.
I guess I'm not following. So there is a show.
They're still doing their podcast.
But you're saying that the podcast acts like it's something, but it's really just a big scripted
Yeah,
effort.
yeah. It's like there'll be
It's like Wayne's World or something. They're like acting like they're in the basement.
yeah, there's a computer voice that'll bust in every so often and tell them to do something. And
Like what was that one show where it's like the audience would tell people stuff and they do it?
oh, like whose line it is it anyway?
Yeah, what's that called? Improvisational, like that
Yeah,
kind of show.
kind of like that.
Or it's more like the AI is going, the audience doesn't like this, do something else, and then the audience likes this, do it again.
It would be like talk about this, and then it would give them a subject to talk about.
But just randomly, not like based on what the audience was doing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I like Will Sasso, so I thought it was still kind of entertaining. But I don't know if I was kind of disappointed or, I had already quickly realized that it's probably fake anyways. And I watched more of that. I think last week I was talking about Survivors, the BBC show from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm about 10 episodes in, and it's pretty good. It's kind of, the 70s Doctor Who feel, budget-wise. But since there's, it's only, I can't remember how many people they said what the survival rate is of this virus. But since there's so few people, they don't need a big budget to be doing what they're doing. But so far, I don't want to give too much away, just in case somebody wants to go back and watch it. But you can find it on YouTube. There's the groups, people are starting to group together, but there's still small groups. So it'll be, half a dozen to maybe 20, the few that they've run into so far. And then each group is a little bit different, and you're kind of seeing what you think the groups would kind of be like, where there are some marauding bands, which I don't think they've really run into, but they've talked about it a little bit. This last episode, they ran into a group which goes into the cities to scavenge for stuff, and then they use that to trade with people because they want gold, because they feel that eventually the society will rebuild, so the gold will be valuable. But there's one episode where one of the ladies that's with them gets killed by somebody that's in their community. It's only like 6. There's 2 kids and maybe 6 adults, something like that. But one of the ladies gets killed by somebody that's in their group. And so they think they catch him, and then they vote on what to do with him, whether to banish him or execute him. And the guy they caught was not the guy that did it. So they execute him, and then find out later that there's kind of a guy and a gal that are kind of in charge. They're somewhat democratic. They kind of vote on stuff, but there's definitely the lady's kind of the figurehead, and then the guy's the guy that gets stuff done. So then they have to figure out, do we tell everybody that they voted to murder the wrong guy? So there's kind of heavy subjects within it. I think it's pretty good.
And this is like everybody lives in their own house and they just come together, like in the movie Jericho, or like the show Jericho.
they're all living in one big house. It's kind of a big manor, somewhere in between a big manor and a castle. It's not quite as big as a castle, but it's kind of an English manor
Okay.
that they found. So, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Episodes are about 45, 48 minutes long, something like that. And I think there's like 3 seasons and 38 episodes, something like that. I'm
found 3
like I said,
seasons.
I'm only about 10 in. And so far it's kind of been each episode, the first one is the setup, everything, everything that happens. And then the second one is kind of they're starting to build a group. And each episode they kind of encounter other groups.
Is it like a show where they're like, let's make a TV show and we'll put it in this setting, and then it has the typical TV show like, and now there's a horse in this episode, and in this episode the one kid gets lost, and it's just like, situations that happen, or is it trying to
a
tell
little bit
a story or something?
there is an overarching theme, the survival theme, where at first they were kind of traveling around, and the one lady, her son, she was looking for her son, but she's kind of given up on that. Basically, they had stated earlier that anyone who survived, none of their family members survived. No one that they ever knew survived. So that's, it's a very low survival rate. So
Yeah,
the odds,
yeah,
odds are he didn't survive. But she's kind of realized that she's not going to find him. So she's decided to concentrate on building the community to survive. The goddamn bacon's out there.
Oh, I forgot to flip the comments over.
And X Adam 1. I don't know if I said X Adam 1 yet. He's out there. If he's up, he could jump in if he wanted to. But I'm glad my buddy Chris told me about it. I've really enjoyed it so far. We'll see if they can carry it through for all 3 seasons. But I think definitely worth watching. It may not be for everybody because it's a 70s show. So
Well, I like 70s shows, but I hate Europe, so it's going to be one like right in the middle for me.
I don't know. It's got that BBC 70s Doctor Who.
I don't like Doctor Who. So a lot of people like it. I don't like it. I liked the what's that called? The Hitchhiker's Guide series, but I liked it in spite of the fact it was Europe, because I just don't like have to translate everything. Like, oh, that's a towel, or like, I guess a towel is the same word, but they got like a bunch of different words for no reason, and it's just annoying to be like, oh, they're talking about the bathroom, like, just because I have to pay attention, I guess.
I don't know. It doesn't seem. I haven't realized. I don't know. It doesn't bother me as much, but I don't notice it kind of in this show.
Yeah, and plus,
they're not saying like lorry and stuff like that. Yeah. They have a van,
like a quid, like it's quids and shit. And they're like, kind of remember it's in Europe. Okay.
Well, you get quid and pound, and it's like a third word for dollar.
Squippence, I believe it is. Squippence.
But they do have. There's vans and there's a bus, but they're European vans and buses, so they're not as cool as ours.
They're just smaller, but yeah. I like the Japanese van. I need a Japanese van pretty bad.
My mom had one of those. The Toyota ones where you sit way forward.
No. I mean the kind that are tiny, like they're.
Oh yeah.
They're like go-karts, but they're vans.
The one my mom had was, it took a little getting used to that you're so far forward and sitting over the wheels.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
drove one once or something like it, but yeah.
But kind of once you get used to feeling like you're sitting on the front bumper, there's nothing wrong with it. X Adam 1, how's it going?
How's it going? I was messing with firearms, so I couldn't turn the camera on a minute ago. And then I forgot that the link doesn't work with Safari, so I had to do a few things. How's it going?
It's kind of a pain. It really likes Chrome.
Yeah, that's what I'm using right now. I decided to just switch that out.
Ozzy Osbourne's out there. Good evening.
It's part of the reason I haven't been doing a lot of, or even any of the live streams yet. I've been busy, but aside from that, it's just working with everything that's on here. I'm not as familiar with it, and sometimes when I start dealing with it, I'm like, I'll just put it off, and I just go on about my day, making a video or doing something else.
Yeah, there is a bit of a learning curve, but it's not that hard. And then the more you do it, the easier it gets.
Yeah, that's probably what I have to do is practice more. And then I want to do that giveaway, give something away just for fun. I like giveaways in general, and people that do them, I don't really watch their channels during the times that they do. Like I'll see something really cool, and then like I get the replay. So I didn't even get to participate. So I thought doing it would be just as fun.
Yeah. Which reminds me that Rich White over at the Unloaded Media channel is going to do a giveaway when he hits 500 subscribers. He's still waiting to kind of get. There's a knife website that's sending him some swag for a giveaway, so he's waiting to get that in to see what it is, and then do a video on everything. So just a heads up. Once he gets a video up, and then I can link to it so people can find out all the details. But he told me that you'll have to be there.
Must be present to win.
Yep.
I might do the buck knife for mine.
I don't know. I like doing the giveaways. I don't do quite as much as I used to, but I will probably do one here because for this chat we're at 91 episodes. So when we hit 100, we'll probably do a giveaway.
What are you thinking of giving away?
I don't know. Usually it's just either I see something kind of cool on Amazon, or I've got some knives laying around. I'll give away some knives or something. And stickers, lots of stickers to give away. Woo-hoo. And some patches and stuff. But
I could send you a couple of things. How far is that going to be? You said you're on 91, so
yeah, so like 9 more weeks.
Month?
So a couple months. And then I'll probably have some stuff from Thunder on the Prairie. So
I could send you one of those little hatchets that I got, since I have 2 of them. And I have 2 of those buck knives. I got one at a pawn shop, like new condition, for just a couple of dollars. It's a really nice one. It's the black handle one. I think the model number is called 110. I don't know if it's legal in your state or not. It's a regular, like 4.5-inch blade, I think. The overall knife is about 8 inches or so.
As long as it's not auto.
No, it's a solid non-folding knife. G-Webs will donate a pug.
It's the laziest co-host on YouTube.
He's dreaming and his eyes are looking all around. They're creeping me out.
Sergeant Joe Smith was asking, what's your favorite classic arcade game? Did you play a lot of video games? Did you spend time at the arcade? G-Webs? As a kid?
I don't remember the names of video games back then. I didn't play them that much that I cared, I guess. Some kind of karate game, I think, and then like Tetris, Pac-Man. I grew up with all of them, so
Yeah.
I think I stopped caring about them when television came out or something like that, or ColecoVision or something like that. Then I'm like, all right, I'm done. They're just never going to stop coming out, and they never stopped coming out.
I don't know. We had a little mall in our hometown and had an arcade, which enjoyed going there. But that was back when it was Pac-Man and
Donkey Kong.
Battle Zone, Donkey Kong. Well, this was before Donkey Kong.
I can remember these games coming out or whatever. But like the arcades would be in a mall next to, well, not next to, but around a movie theater usually. So there was like a whole mall of stuff to do. Like I guess some people stayed in the arcade, but we didn't have any money, so we weren't going to just sit there and watch other people play. So we walked around the mall and did other things. We just never really sat around playing video games.
We were in a small town, so we didn't have a mall nearby. It was like in the next county. So there was this local convenience store that the guy decided to clear out a little area, and he installed a few arcades. I remember one of them was some sort of spaceship, some sort of shooting game. I remember the Donkey Kong one, and there was another one I can't recall. But everyone, I think it was what is it, Galaga, I think?
Yeah, that was
that old school game.
It's probably my
And
favorite arcade game is Galaga.
Everybody would pile up at the entrance because it's not a huge store. So you'd probably fit maybe 8 people crowded inside that little arcade area. And because of that, the owner of the store, you are required to buy an item at the minimum when you go in. If you're going to go just watch someone play, and if you're going to hang out there, you had to buy at least one item every half hour. So it didn't matter if it was a pack of M&Ms or anything, because he had a whole bunch of kids just in his store.
Had a 2-drink minimum.
Yep, pretty much. And then, mind you, we're junior high kids, smaller, younger. Some of us were younger, and everybody would walk around with pockets full of quarters. And when the first like Mortal Kombat came out, that was like pretty much at that point everybody was already at home, on their Nintendos and pretty much every other game system that was coming out. But prior to that, everybody was in that corner store. He's one of those guys that by the cash register, on the floor was concrete, and he's one of those jerks that would put like the quarter and then put sealant over it, so everybody, if you didn't know, you'd go and try to pick it up. Yeah, that guy was around for quite some time, that little corner store. I don't know if it's still there or not.
There was like pizza places that would have a video games or something. So when you talk about that, like hot dog places would have them. So I almost talking about, and that would happen, but it's not like an arcade.
Here's
make Pac-Man.
I was just talking about. I can't make it bigger. The Red Baron. It's technically it's not wireframe, but the images kind of look like wireframe images. So this was.
Oh,
I would go.
Asteroids was one of them. Was back then.
Because this and Battle Zone, which was you're in a tank but they had the same look. But I like this one because you're in a biplane. This is Red Baron.
I don't think I've ever seen that. That looks like it was created like on a DOS system.
Well, this was during that time. I never played the sit-down one, but
well, when you talk about the sit-down or kind where you sit in like a race car thing, like that Spy Hunter was pretty cool back in the old days because you were like driving a car, kind of.
for for sit down Afterburner, where you fly a Tomcat, and the deluxe the Tomcat Afterburner Deluxe. It was kind of like a simulator. It didn't go side to side, but it would rock like that. So it gave you kind of like a flight simulator.
Which one was the one with that blonde girl that would you be driving, and if you crashed, she'd fly out along with you?
I don't know.
It was like a red Corvette, I think, and you'd be just, I forgot the name of it.
There's
but
been
it was
a couple. There's like California Dreamin'. Yeah, I don't remember.
I just remember the car would flip if you made a turn or hit the tree or whatever, and then like you and the girl would fall like on their butts and they'd be on the road.
But the two games I was best at was Galaga. I would sit and wipe everybody else's names off it.
What is Galaga?
And then it's kind of like Space Invaders. Except instead of just going side to side, they would kind of loop around, and then the aliens would loop around and then fly down at you.
So first, second, and third place was your first name, your middle initial, and your last initials?
Nope, it would just be DMF, 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 DMF.
There was that one, what's it called? Something with the word beast in it. It was also during that arcade
Altered
time.
Beast.
There you go, that one. I never got past more than like, I think one of the first characters, one of the few first ones was like a bear, wasn't it, or something like that? Like
a werewolf.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, I wasn't very good at that one.
You turned into like a few animals, and I think I've only seen it like to the second or third one. At some point, you turn into like a dragon, I think. I never got that far though, because I didn't have that many quarters or that much time.
The other game that I was good at was Choplifter.
You familiar with that one?
You flew a Huey, and you basically pick up. I don't know if I don't remember, they're prisoners or just survivors. So you fly over them, and then you drop a ladder, or I think you could land, get them on board, and then fly off.
Were you also shooting, or were you just trying to avoid stuff and picking them up?
I think you could shoot. I mean, it's been, God, I haven't played that since, it would have been early 90s.
A lot of those first games were all shooting, like the little tank ones. I remember there's like at least 4 of them. Even during the Atari games, there was that little, it looked kind of like a little car with little squares that were supposed to be like the little wheels, and you'd have to jump over little craters. And some of the first few games I ever saw were all like little tank shooting games, like Contra, for example. That came a little bit later, but all those first initial games were all some sort of like war type little shooting game.
Yeah. Asteroids, I was never real good at Asteroids.
I played that one recently.
Once
that one in Mortal Kombat.
Once I started moving my ship, I really struggled. Yeah.
It would throw me off when I try to leave this. You know how you leave the left screen and you end up like on the right side coming in? Like you could leave the screen. It was just like continual. That would always throw me off because I'd end up leaving the screen and all of a sudden I'd just die. But the game's thing was like, oh, you ran into an asteroid that was about to come in at the same time you were coming in the screen. So you never saw yourself. You just saw the little pieces when it would blow up.
That's how you do diagonal in that game, though. Like, if that makes sense. Like, that's how you can do shots that clear the board because you can start getting into going at a pace and then shoot. It's sort of like normally you shoot and it's a beam, but if you're going fast enough and you shoot, it turns into like a span. So you can just, it's sort of like a shotgun shell. You can sort of knock out whole chunks of asteroids, if I remember right.
I used to go straight across, like kind of what you're mentioning, where you're just in one direction, just full throttle and just shooting, hoping that I would get everything in front of me. But something would always get me from the side. They still have it here at Diesel's where you get a haircut. It's got like a real retro look to it, the place. And they still have arcades. Like when you show up, they'll ask you if you want a beer or a non-alcoholic drink, and it's free. You just go, you grab a beer or whatever, sit down, wait for your haircut, and you can play the games. And the games are free too. So that's what I do while I'm waiting for my haircut, or when I used to go there a few months ago. all I would do is sit there. But I play Mortal Kombat. I'd always master it with like the same 3 moves using Scorpion. So I would just play it, and every time, by the time it was my turn, I'd remaster the game, doing the same jump kick, sweep, and uppercut, repetitive move to get through the whole game. There you go.
So this is Asteroids for the younger crowd that might not know what Asteroids is.
You got to move it.
It was a vector game. All the other games were something else.
I could never play it on the computer. I think it was spacebar was to move, and I forgot which ones it was to turn which directions, or spacebar was to shoot. I can't remember. But I could never get the hang of it. I'd always die almost immediately on the computer.
And here's another one that I did like. Early game. Oops, can I get out of there? Tempest.
Never heard of that one either.
So there'll be different geometric shapes, and let me skip forward. And you kind of move around the edge, shooting down. And you have to remember, this is early video games, so they're not super sophisticated.
I think the one that M. Gabriel's mentioning is the Missile Command. If it's the one I'm thinking, I think you got like little bases at the bottom, and the little missiles are coming down like kind of
Yeah,
slow
you
at
got
the
the
beginning,
trackball.
and you gotta shoot it up. Yeah,
yeah,
I remember that.
I enjoyed that one too.
And then towards the end, I don't know. I can't remember if they give you more bases you have to cover, or if the incoming missiles start coming in faster, or there's like a lot more of them. I can't remember how it went.
I think it was more, but I don't remember.
And it ate away at all the stuff you had protecting you, and then it gave you less and less stuff protecting you.
Yeah.
Sergeant Joe Smith brings up Q*bert. I'd never liked Q*bert.
Oh, really? Q*bert was pretty good.
Yeah, there was something about it I didn't like. I don't
'Cause he was
remember
orange.
exactly.
So it's because he was orange.
Which one's that one? That's a little guy with the 2
Orange
feet
guy.
with a weird little nose on the
Got
top.
kind of like the
He
horn
just
mouth.
pops up and down in a triangle all the time.
Yeah, I never saw the game. I just saw the commercials that would come out on TV from time to time.
It was almost like Tetris. It was more of a puzzle game than anything.
Yeah, okay.
But was there a ball or something? Like you'd had to move away from a ball or something, or change colors or something like that. Yeah, Frogger was good. Now that you're talking about Frogger, I like Frogger.
Here's
I can play that for
Q*bert.
hours.
So he's the little orange thing over right there.
You got to jump on every square maybe before them balls hit you.
I don't
So-
remember. But
You had to
They're
do
changing
some-
colors, so I think you maybe have to go in a certain pattern only. Like you can't step on some of them.
There was a puzzle. Like you could lose, and then also there was the balls. And you'd jump off of there somehow.
Yeah, I just remember not liking Q*bert.
It wasn't violent enough for you. There was no swords in it.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't remember exactly why I didn't. And I think someone mentioned Moon Patrol. That was one that I played. I think the Safeway, the grocery store, had it. Yeah. But and then every so often there's a crater or rock you have to jump over.
That's like the one I was thinking of, except it was on a computer and it looked more like the Asteroids game, but it was the same concept and the same little type of car where you'd be shooting and jumping.
M. Gabriel said he remembers nearly getting electrocuted playing Tank Battle at the local pool. That's not good.
In those days, if you poured champagne on your computer, half the time, like it would fall in love with you, or some kind of a girl would fall out of it, would fall in love with you. It was pretty awesome back then.
The goddamn bacon said I never went to any arcades where I grew up. Funny enough, I remember the Sawmill Plaza for their arcade, which is the mall near where my great grandmother lived in Mississippi when we went to reunions.
For a little while, there was a time frame where game rooms started coming up, and it was just arcades. It would used to be some rented out, leased out place that for whatever reason shut down. Then it turned into an arcade room. Everybody would go there, and they lasted for like a year, maybe. I don't remember how long it was everywhere else, but locally where I was at, it was always just packed. They had that one football game where you're like on two opposite ends and you got like a little cue ball kind of control and you're just spinning the ball to make your players move. They had a bunch of those games, but they didn't last too long as far as the whole game room thing. It was fun while they were there, though.
M. Gabriel mentioned Zaxxon and Tron. Zaxxon, I didn't really play Zaxxon. Tron, I loved Tron, and that's one where even today when I hear the music from the arcade game, brings back fond memories.
Trying to get the name of that one Kung Fu game where it's got the little guy in red and the other guy in white.
Was it the karate one?
Yeah, and then if you had like a little bonus round, like little things would kind of fly at you, and you either had to
Yeah.
jump them or like kick them or punch them. It ended really quick. It was a real short fight.
Well, was it a 2-player game or was it a single-player game?
Or if you're playing versus, it'd be 2-player, where the other person would be red, and then if not, you're the white guy and you're going across, just kind of dodging things. I'm looking at the little deal right now, but I just can't find the name of it.
It was like the Yi Kung Fu was one that I liked. Let me show some of that here. I was more of a button masher, so games that favored someone who could hit the button fast, I did better at.
It looks like the game I was thinking of was Kung Fu, and then later it's Kung Fu Master. But Kung Fu, I guess, is the name of it.
Yeah, let's wait for this ad to stop. Skip that.
And the one I remember playing was the guy's wearing white. He has black hair and like a short little black sleeve. It's like the older version of that one, I think. Yeah, but it's the same, except those graphics look a little bit better.
It's the same. No, that's the same. That's from '84.
Yeah, I think that might be. Is that? No, it's different. But it's the same basic idea.
Oh, another one that I liked was Shinobi. You're a ninja and you. Let me share this one. This one. Like looks like this is maybe the. Oh, yeah.
No, I never played that one. One of the last games I played on the arcade was Double Dragon.
A friend of mine and I beat Double Dragon, and I accidentally killed him right at the end when we beat it. So I won.
You killed your friend, or you killed the bad guy when you first did it?
I killed my friend after we killed the boss, the final boss, because he was standing in front of me, and we killed him, and I accidentally hit him, and it killed him. So the end credits was just me. I ended up winning it because of that.
You wanted the first place spot for yourself. Couldn't have a second player on there.
It was an accident. Vanessa Kitty, anyone have that game with the little hammers where you have to knock out the ice and the blocks? Don't break the ice. We had it.
I remember that as an actual home game, not an arcade. I didn't know there was an arcade.
No,
for
I
it.
think I took it to be the little home game thing.
Oh, okay.
Sergeant Joe Smith said the Mouse Man stabs all his friends in the back. That's not true. I'll stab you in the front too. And also said Adventureland Park in Des Moines had 2 arcades in the 80s, plus malls. Here locally, only 2 mini golf courses in the 80s, arcades with them. And Office Depot sits where one used to be in War Memorial.
I've seen a mini arcade at a pawn shop, although it looked almost like a full-size arcade, just a little bit smaller. So it's not the little mini ones for like children, but apparently you can download games to it. So it's just essentially a screen in a box made to look like an arcade, but it looked like it was well built. It didn't have like the whole old school tube TV or anything like that.
I'll look every so often. I'll look on Craigslist and look at arcade games, full-size arcade games and stuff. I really want one, but I don't have room for it, and there's no reason I should get it other than I want it. There was at the last time we went to the fair, the Washington State Fair, formerly the Puyallup Fair. There was one of the booths had full-size arcade games. Oh God, I still really want one.
You'd want to get the matching soda machine to go in their man cave. Then you're going to want a pinball machine.
I know. Well, when I was a kid, we had a pinball machine. I learned a lot about it. Would open it up and look inside. Learned a lot about how they work.
Did you need coins to play it, or did you guys have it worked where you could just drop the same quarter or coin over and over again?
We would just open the door and then activate it from the back of the door.
You weren't even creative about it. We were creative because we didn't have money, or a lot of money really. We'd get a whole roll of nickels and we'd go, to the bank or the store, just get a whole bunch of roll of nickels and go to our friend's dad had some tools. So we'd get an anvil, a shop hammer, and we smash the nickels into the perfect size of the quarter. And we'd always have a quarter to be able to match it. And we'd use that for the games, and we'd use that for the vending machines. So with a few nickels, you got a lot, got our money's worth.
Gizzard Gary, how you doing? Are you feeling better?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Somebody told me that you had taken ill while at NRAM.
I had a minor medical affliction, nothing long term or anything like that. Let's put it that way. I don't want to go into great detail. I'll tell you off air.
We're talking old video games. What was your favorite old video game?
old video game.
Yeah, like 80s, late 70s into the 80s.
Oh, you mean like
Arcade stuff.
oh, you're not talking Atari stuff then.
No.
Okay. Well, let's see. I used to play a lot. Of course, played Pac-Man, Ms. Pac-Man. My favorite was probably Defender.
Hmm.
And I played them all. Space Invaders, Missile Command, all that stuff. Wasted a lot of quarters.
Oh, come on.
I
Just
need
trying to
look up
find.
Defender.
Yeah, I was just trying to find some gameplay, and there's first video I clicked on is people talking about it. I just want to see the gameplay, so that those that are younger who might not be familiar with these old games. This is Defender. I have
remember
played
playing-
it. It wasn't one of my favorite ones, but
I played
Yeah,
pinball on the
further along you
Atari
got
and on that.
It was speed up. Yeah, there you go.
It's a suicide mission.
there was when I was in grade school, my bus stop was actually at a little convenience store, and next to that was a little restaurant, like kind of cafe size, real small. And it over the years had been different things, a bakery and whatnot. But I think when it was the bakery, they had a few video games in there, and the payphone out front, there would always be quarters in the change return. There'd always be a couple dollars of quarters. So when we get off the bus, I'd go over, check the phone to see if there's quarters in there, and if there was, then I'd go, I'd have a couple bucks to go play video games.
My grandmother would always do that when we could not walk past the payphone without her sticking her fingers in it. And the little change deal, like she could not. And as a little kid, I never knew why she was doing. I mean, like you didn't use the phone, was my thought process at the time. Like, what are you doing, Grandma? And she's like, hold on. And then she'd walk over. Because if you recall, the payphones, there used to be sometimes like 2 or 3 of them, like side by side.
Yeah.
So she'd just go through them all.
M. Gabriel's bringing up Dig Dug. That was one that I really liked too.
Mm-hmm.
It
Centipede.
Yeah, Dig Dug was. You had a little guy with a pump, and you dug around, and then when you got to the bad guys, you inflate them to pop them.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that one.
Well, go have a good shower. The Saint brings up asteroids, and we talked about Galaga a little earlier. That is my all-time favorite
Yeah, that's
video game.
pretty fun too.
Anywhere I saw it, I would wipe everybody else's name off it, just so it would have only my name on it. And I hated the places that would unplug their games at night, because then it would reset all the high scores.
You see that episode of Seinfeld where
Yeah,
they did that whole
He's got the Frogger.
game? Is it that? Oh, that's right. Forgot that's how it ended as far as that episode.
I went to a few years ago now. My son was meeting friends at a was it Doug and Buster's or whatever and Buster's? Dave and Buster's. They had a huge Galaga game. You know, they had a little podium with the controls on it and then a huge screen. And I am not as good as I used to be. I did not last very long on it. It's been a long time since I've played.
Did they ever have tournaments where you were at, or not like tournaments, but like little competitions for different games on the weekends?
Not that I know of.
I remember they used to have those where I was at. Whoever the business would give a few dollars for like the first place winner, and then people would show up because the whole time you're playing, you're wasting your own money.
Yeah. There was on TBS, there was a game show where kids would play video games. They'd pick out a video game and play head to head. I don't remember the name of it. It was like Saturday mornings, I think. That would have been mid 80s, mid to late, maybe not late 80s, about mid 80s. Vanessa Kitty said there's still a payphone at her town hall. I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen an actual payphone.
There's one here downtown. It looked functional. I've never bothered to stop and see if it still works or not, because some of them, it's just the booth part, but this actually had the receiver and everything. Because I remember I had my daughter take a picture with it, like pretending she's on the phone just so we could have it, because she'd never seen it before.
Yeah, there's the more we talk about it, the more video games I'm remembering.
Well, all the video, like arcades and all of that, when did Nintendo really well, Atari really is when it became big, but I remember everyone staying home and not going anywhere once the first NES came out. Because when Atari came out, I still remember a lot of our friends still going out and we play arcades. But once Nintendo came out, nobody was really leaving the house. You'd end up with those blisters and the sore thumbs just from the controls, like never let them go.
I'm not sure. I know I was in grade school when Nintendo came out.
Yeah, but after that, I didn't really notice anything else as far as arcades. Like I said, the last one I played was Double Dragon. I don't remember which one of them it was. I'm assuming it was the first one.
There was still more that came out. There was still like pinball machines were still coming out because you know after that there's like Virtua Fighter and the Mortal Kombat's arcade games that were still coming out.
Did you ever own the Power Glove on Nintendo?
No.
Nobody did.
A friend of mine had the little robot thing.
What robot thing?
It basically would pick up a little top that it would spin, and I don't remember what game you used it for.
I think the Power Glove only had one game, and it's the one that they'd always show in the commercial where you like grab a virtual ball. I don't know what you would do with it, but like that was the only game that you could play with the actual glove that I ever heard about. Everything else was just on the controls, like on your palm.
This is the little robot thing. I don't know. I don't even remember what it was for, but it plugged into the Nintendo. But as far as I remember, that's all it did.
It looks like a really fancy CD player. or Wally. Is it just organizing discs like a disc holder?
They're little top things, and it spins them. Like I said, I don't remember exactly what it was, why it was. Yeah, it was kind of cool because it's a little robot thing, but other than that,
One thing I did like about all those new games, they were relatively easy to like get into and play. You didn't have to read a whole thing or look up all these different items and get all your settings. Like today's games, you have to build your character, get all these weapons. Like you have to do way too much. Like I want it to be entertaining, just a quick, fun action game or puzzle
Yeah.
game. I just want to get into it. Any game I could just sit down, start playing, kind of figure out within the first 3 minutes, and enjoy playing. And the new games, even the little storylines that you can't skip past. I don't know if all the games are still like that or not, if they've already implemented a skip feature for that. But it's just too much. Like, not a big fan of that myself. I just want something quick. Again, I see it as entertainment for an hour where I might have to wait for something, or I'm waiting on something to happen or someone to come by or whatever. Not to sit there for 4 hours minimum and invest that much time.
I kind of like games more where you can pick it up and then leave out, put it down and not have to worry about saving because you're so far into it that you're going to lose a whole bunch of stuff. And I do really like Zelda, the Legend of Zelda. I don't have a Nintendo Switch, so I only played up through Skyward Sword, I think.
I've
think
never
that's-
played Zelda.
I didn't like the NES ones, but from Ocarina of Time, where it's more explorable world, from then on, I've loved it. But since I stopped at the Wii U, I haven't bought another console. Then I haven't played the new Zeldas. Mr. Bob Dabalina said, when I was in high school, the big arcade game was foosball. We played pinball waiting for a foosball table to open up. When you got on the foosball table, you played other teams until you lost on their quarter. I've never paid to play foosball. I've only ever played it at somebody's house who had a foosball game.
Yeah, same here.
Ozzy said Duck Hunt was one of his favorites.
That reminds
Roy Munson said microtransactions have ruined gaming.
Yeah, that too. I was going to say that a lot of the shooter games that I'm thinking of now that were arcade, those were fun to play at the arcade, and I don't think translated that well to console. Like there was the one with aliens. You'd have the gun, and I don't remember. You're just going through different areas and you're shooting an alien. And it was always a 2-player game, but most of the time it was just one person playing. Except I used to grab the gun, put my finger in the trigger, and just kind of rapid fire. And you had to aim off the screen to reload it again.
Yeah, well, there was like Area 51.
There you go. That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, there was a couple cool games like that where the guns actually had a moving slide, so you got a little, just a little taste of recoil on them, which made it more enjoyable.
There's also a cowboy one. I never played that one, but I'd see people play it, and I thought it was really cool. I never played it because it was 50 cents to play pretty much every time versus a quarter. So I never got into that. But those just don't translate as well because you're on a control. You're not really doing the same actions. So I think that kind of kills some of the fun of it. There was also a target one. You're like at a fair kind of deal, and little targets would come up, like little plates or little ducks or whatever, and you were just scoring for points, really.
The Saint said the graphics on Pong were incredible. Roy Munson said they're called rail shooters. Yeah, for the most part, I never liked on the rail shooters where it kind of moves you through a certain path. That's like the Resident Evil. There's only like one of the games that I ever liked that I played. I think it was the fourth one because it was more open world where you could run around. But there are other ones where you're on the rail, so it moves you through the screen how it wants you to go. I didn't care for it. Can't remember what the one I had bought that I'm specifically thinking of. I can't remember which one it was. The on the rail one. I ended up returning it because I didn't like it.
I remember there was a magazine that would come out, and the big hype on it was that it had all the little cheats and all the little glitches and all the little codes that you could use for different games. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know the name of the magazine, but it had pretty much all the secret stuff of the different games.
New York Outcast is out there. Good morning. Yeah, Rob, we're just here plotting how to steal your polls. He was accusing me of stealing his poll ideas the other day. Not true.
Shooting your best friend in the back, stealing polls just to get high scores. When you think you know someone.
All's fair in love and war. So they say. I would, for the most part, if any game that I played, if I made a truce with somebody, I would abide by that truce until I kind of got tired of playing the game, and then I'd frag everybody.
So that really wasn't abiding by any truce, was it?
Well,
I get bored till I decide it's over. I can't win, no one can, and just it's bad.
Gary, Mr. Gizzard Gary.
Yes, sir.
Other than the Civivi knives, was there anything cool and new or innovative you saw at NRAM? I know that's more of a SHOT Show thing, but did you see anything you didn't see at SHOT Show?
Yeah, I saw the new the O-Sight from Olight.
O-Sight?
Yeah, it's a 3 MOA red or green dot pistol light, rechargeable.
Rechargeable
from Olight, yes. Called the O-Sight. And
I was gonna ask you, is it their design or if they're just having somebody else build it? But if
it's kind of hard to tell. I mean, it looks like something Olight would come up with because it's got magnetic charging.
Well, I was going to say, if it's rechargeable, it might be something.
Which the magnet is built onto the top of the sight itself. Then it comes with this desk cover, which actually doubles as a recharger.
Oh, I might have seen a picture of that. Is it with the charger on top of it? Does it make it look huge?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw a picture of it, and I didn't realize that was Olight.
It's pretty large already. It looks a lot like the 507 comp by Holosun.
Yeah, it's got a square reticle on it. It's pretty good size.
Yeah, and I saw it on the picture of a Glock, and I saw how large it was. I'm like, oh, that looks just like the 507 comp. Well, as far as the body of it,
I mean, I asked them all kinds of questions about it, and they gave me, all the answers you wanted to hear. It's shake awake, good battery life. Supposedly, they had some people run tens of thousands of rounds through it without any problems. Like I say, 3 MOA, RMR platform, all they have right now, but others will be coming later. Plus, it comes with a Picatinny rail mount. And like I say, it was going. Strangely enough, the red dot could be had. They had a 20% show discount, so you could pick up the red dot for around $160, but the green dot was closer to $200. Why more for the green? That much more? I mean, it doesn't cost that much more to make it, obviously. So
I don't know if they still have it, but they had it $50 off for a few hours after they released it. Because I did see that same price range that he mentioned, but for like an hour or two, or maybe it was the whole day, they had them at a good discount.
So this is the O site. This is from their website. See the power. Never lose your dot.
see if you can find a picture with the charger on there. Yeah,
Oh,
there's a charger.
the charger almost on it. I guess that would be a no.
They had a good sized booth, and there were literally at least a dozen of these or better that people were clustered around these small tables so they could see them, pick them up, stuff. So they had a pretty good crowd around there, that's for sure.
I was just checking the price. It looks like that special that they were running already ended. I thought maybe it was just like I said, I think it was just a 1 day or a few hours special that they had because it's back to the regular price now.
How much did you say it was, Gary?
Anywhere from the show price, which I say was 20% off MSRP, was $160 for the red and just shy of $200 for the green.
Oh, not bad. Wow.
I mean, some of the channels have done reviews. Such has a review on it. Of course, Such loves it, but what doesn't Such love? But 2 thumbs up, way up.
Yeah, I'm showing that they go from 2 to 230, depending on color. Yeah, when I saw them, I think it was 50 off of that. Because I almost got one, but then I saw how large it was, and for what I was going to use it for, it just wasn't going to work out. I wanted it for
Let's just
smaller.
say a couple of the people in my group brought one home. I'm not going to name names. So, yes, they paid for them.
Well,
Did you bring one for everyone in the classroom?
You basically got a 50-50 chance, I'm guessing.
I can make it a little easier. I was not one of them.
Yeah, I can't really find a picture of with the charger on top of it.
I've got a picture that I could share with you. Hold on. Let me get it up here. Okay. Share screen. I've got more than one, actually. There you go.
Yeah, I think that's the picture I saw. It must have been yours. So it looks huge.
Yeah, it's got over here's a little light that actually turns on the display so you can see. As soon as you put it on, it shows you the charging level going all the way from 25, 50, 75 to a full charge.
Does that only charge the battery portion of it itself, the cover? Does that only charge with the physical cable in the back? Because I see they have little chargers embedded on the table, or does it charge with those magnetic ones?
Those are for the flashlights. They also had flashlights on the table too.
Oh, okay.
But this desk cover / charger has a USB-C slot on the back for it, so it can be recharged. Now the drawback to this is the batteries are non-replaceable, and of course a lithium-ion battery has a finite number of charges. So at a certain point, it's gonna end up being a brick. But that could be years down the road. They were talking about a battery life of 20,000 hours or better, period, without being recharged. So I'm not real sure why the constant need to top off the charge on that battery every time you put the desk cover on it, but really didn't have much choice if you put the desk cover on there.
Yeah, because that's not good for that type of battery.
There's another look at it with the cover on.
It's not quite as big as it looks in the other picture.
And the cover off.
That looks like a Glock 19 though, unless it's a 48 or something that's just making it look larger.
It's a 48, I think. Pretty sure. Does that say 49? No, 48. Okay. It's one or the other anyway.
Okay, yeah, it's a thinner one. That's probably why it looks a little bit larger.
Glock 48 is the first Glock that I ever shot.
Oops, wrong way. Yeah.
Do you own a Glock at all?
Yeah, I have a G20. I liked it. I was surprised, pleasantly surprised. I really liked that 48. It felt good, shot well for me. I didn't mind the grip angle.
I haven't shot that one, but I have held it, and it does feel really, really nice. I would have gotten it, but I already have something similar. But it is a really nice gun.
Was there any Civivi knife, Gary, that stood out to you that you think is worth mentioning?
Well, basically they were there to sell knives more than to debut anything new. Although I did see on the WE knife side, they had, I don't know what the model was, but they had a WE knife that was a limited edition. Like there were only 250 made, and Seth, one of their marketing guys, showed it to me. He said, I've never seen one of these before. He said, look closely at the serial number on there. And it had 001 of 250. He says, I've never in my life ever have we gotten a first serial number. He says, I almost don't want to sell it.
To me, that means I cannot afford it, however much it is.
I said, does that mean it's worth a lot? He says, well, it means I could probably get more than this price tag says on it for it.
Yeah. Yeah, that big Civivi that you showed.
Mm-hmm.
Civivi liked my comment that I made about it.
Yeah, that was a good sized knife.
And well, it's always hard to tell because you have small hands.
Yeah.
You never know exactly how big something is.
Yeah, that's why starting this week, I actually, when I read the description, I put the length of the blade in there so people could use that for reference. Because I've had that comment made before. We can't tell how long the blade is because your hands make it seem bigger than it actually is. So, but yeah, that thing I think had a 4-inch blade on it.
Yeah, for those who might not know, Gary is large in personality and a little smaller in stature.
Well, yeah, when I met you and you were a good head taller than me, I knew that. So
I am not good at judging my size compared to other people until I see the picture. Like looking at the picture of me standing with you and Mitch with Honcho.
Well, never having seen you other than sitting at a table, except maybe in a few of your videos and stuff like that. But, you kind of get a mental picture of somebody, and when they call themselves, the mouse man or something like that, for some reason you think, well, they're probably not very big, which is funny because I had a buddy growing up who went by the nickname of Mouse, and he was like 6'4", 280, big old guy. So,
yeah, I was surprised because like looking at the picture with me standing with Defense Dad and Travis P11. I pictured Defense Dad being a lot taller than me. He's a large guy. But there's less height. He's a little bit taller than me, I believe. I'd have to look at the picture again, but not as tall as I had thought.
well, if you ever get to meet somebody like Chris from the 740, he's a very tall man. The Gun Snob, Obnoxious One are both fairly tall. So,
But Chris is going to be at Thunder in the Prairie, isn't he?
can't remember.
Thought he was going to go. I was hoping he's going.
Well, isn't G-Webs also like 7'12"?
G-Webs is very tall.
Someone needs to do a pulse check on that poor pup.
Compared to that pup, he's much taller than the pup is. And I've seen them both at the same time in person, so I know this to be true. Yes, I have petted that puppy.
Ozzy's asking, have you seen the picture of me standing between Ghost and Clover? I don't think I've seen that picture.
Yeah, Ghost and Clover are about my height.
Rob says no, G is a 5 foot tall black guy. I don't think so unless he has vitiligo on his hands.
I don't remember him being that.
He uses a filter. Y'all don't know.
Yeah, and there is I saw a post about the actual NRA meeting where it sounds like some of the Council of Elders have been voted out.
Yeah.
The post that I read said it wasn't sweeping change, but there was some change.
Yeah, there was some. We didn't see much. That all happened upstairs, away from the show floor, and we didn't have access to it, but we could go in the media room and watch on the TVs.
I was in that area and I didn't even know the NRA show was going on until I ran into somebody at the local Buc-ee's from Midwest. Forgot the guy's name, but he was there, and he had that little tag still on him. And I asked him, about it, and he's the one that told me, like, oh yeah, I just came from the show. I'm like, what show? It's like the NRA show. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I can tell you that Dallas traffic in rush hour is quite fun.
I've never been to Dallas, but I have never heard anybody talk about the Dallas-Fort Worth area being fun to drive through.
Now we had a range day on Thursday, and they had some thunderstorms go through at late morning, so it pretty much rained us out about an hour after we got there. So we ended up going out for lunch, and then we went downtown Dallas and drove around the Daily Plaza area and stuff like that to see where Kennedy was assassinated. That's pretty cool.
Take a picture reenacting it up on the tower.
Did you go up in the book depository?
Take a picture.
No, drove by it though.
Take that, you commie. Blam, blam, blam.
Got pictures of the grassy knoll.
Was there a guy looking over the fence? Grassy knoll?
I didn't see him, but he could have been hiding back there.
He was holding that umbrella.
That's right.
Of all the times I've driven through there, I don't think I've ever exited in Dallas.
Well, luckily, we didn't actually stay in Dallas. We stayed in an Airbnb in Garland.
Okay.
But our range day was down around Waxahachie, so which is clear on the other side of Dallas. So we had to drive through the gut of the city to get there.
Did you see any of those Renaissance Fair people?
I didn't see any.
Yeah, they were all over during that weekend. I ran into them too. They were all like made up and they were dedicated to that. I saw parents with their kids and they were all from head to toe dressed like the whole medieval thing. I thought it was pretty cool. I just freaked out because I didn't expect it. First, I thought it was just like a couple just walking, and then I saw everybody else like that. I was like, wow. And I was miles from it.
I've never been to a Renaissance fair. I don't think there's ever been one around here that I've known about.
We have a big one every year up in the Kansas City area, and I've never been to it. But there was a small one around the Wichita area near where my daughter lives, and we went about 3 weeks ago. So first time in my entire life I'd been to a Renaissance fair, and it's kind of fun. I mean, yeah, it's a little goofy. It's like X Adam said, you had a bunch of people walking around in character. They were living it to the hilt. And if you wanted to, you could buy costumes too. And everybody said, oh, you got to buy period costumes and wear it in there. Well, I went to the tent where they were selling stuff, and like if you got a cape, the capes were $150, $200. Like, I'm not spending a fortune just to look silly.
Were they like fur, actual leather, handmade or something?
Yeah. They were decent. Don't get me wrong, but
I'm thinking of the little cheap costume style things just so that you can kind of fit in, not an actual decked out uniform. The people I saw, they looked like they made it themselves, or at least that's the way it looked, but they looked nice. I'm not going to say that they didn't look pretty cool. And it's the lady I asked, she said, no, it's in Waxahachie. It was a weekend thing. It was the same weekend that during that NRA show.
I wouldn't be against going to one, but I most likely would not dress up to go.
What was the name of that show? The one with the wall, the walkers and all that?
Walking Dead?
Thrones? No, Game of Thrones, right?
Oh.
with that guy who Holdor. You go one of those long black or brown Little John deals. Simple.
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
Or
I
Little
didn't-
John from Robin Hood.
Yeah.
The way they depict them, or the friar, where they wear those brown deals with just a rope kind of waist belt looking deal.
Yeah.
You could wear one of those. Just keep it simple.
No, thank you. I'd rather be one of the jerks that dress up like it's Starfleet uniform and goes to the Renaissance fairs just to screw with them.
He'd stand out, that's for sure.
With a digital watch, just to.
I
Over
did
people's
the
faces.
obligatory. I bought the turkey leg, and a bottle of mead.
I've heard they have musicians play there. Do they play like the old school stuff, like as far as instruments?
Oh yeah, that's kind of interesting. The music.
Like folkish type music, I would imagine.
Oh, Gary, welcome back. Sounds like you had a great time at the end, man. Is there anything you'd like to plug? Is that a no, or you just don't know that you're muted? Or did you?
Sorry,
walk
I
away?
had to step away for a second. I had another radio screaming at me. I had to turn off. So did you ask me something?
Yes, I said plug something.
Plug something. Oh, okay. We're back for Foul Territory this Friday, 9 p.m. Central Time. We just had our members only chat, so that's Wednesday nights at 8 o'clock. We'll do it again next Wednesday. And then, of course, the weekend after this coming weekend is Thunder on the Prairie. So all kinds of
I'm
stuff going on.
looking forward to it.
So thanks for having me. I'd have been here earlier if not for an impromptu nap. So
Oh, that's
I'm
quite all
playing.
right.
Yes.
X out of 1. Remember, you don't have to leave right away once we close the show. That's up to you.
All right.
Anything you want to plug?
This Saturday, if I do not ship out, this Saturday I do want to do a giveaway. I will do it earlier part of the afternoon, between 1 and 3. And if I don't ship out, I'll probably make a short video on Friday, just kind of announcing the time frame. Ship out to work, not to war or anything like that.
G-Webs, are you awake? Are you there? I don't know if he laid down, fell asleep.
Did he turn the camera around, or was the dog facing the other way just a few minutes ago?
He was facing the other way.
Oh, okay.
He wanted to show us his balls.
And I said the balls compliment the balls. He went through the effort.
Well, let me play this in lieu of G-Web saying anything.
Gearwebsites.com for 2A stickers, patches, books, logo design, web design, 3D printing, technology consulting, and so much more. Gearwebsites.com.
So this weekend is an off weekend, and I think I might try and do the overnight on Wednesday, since the day that the overnight would fall on, I'm going to be at Thunder on the Prairie, and the cell reception is not very good out in the middle of the cornfield. So might try and do the overnight Wednesday, maybe. Not positive. And so a big thank you to everybody that was out there in the side chat, chatting her up. And if you were out there and didn't say anything, I do appreciate you too. Don't be afraid to speak up. Let me know that you're out there. Just say hi. And if you watch this in replay, Anything we talked about, agree with, disagree with? What's your favorite video game? Let me know. I read all the comments and they are very appreciated. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.